are live. All right. What's going on, everybody? This is your boy King Gabe here, and going into another chapter of Matilda here. Yeah, we're back on that there. I'm saying, yeah, like I say, had quite a week here, there, pretty busy and stuff like that, and say just and also like I say, been dropping a lot of content on you guys, and still process and then still having some made there. But like I say, so let's go on and dive right into this. The story, and but this story is actually called "Throwing the Hammer." It's quite an interesting title for a chapter there. According to this chapter, is involving Matilda being told some tales about the Trunchbull. And apparently, there's a friend of hers named Lavender in this. Yeah, I did skim kind of through this a little bit to yeah, in order to get like the thumbnail for for it and everything of the like you saw the older kid. It's actually a 10-year old that was telling Matilda and Lavender about this, but that was the thing. I actually did not realize that Lavender was in this chapter, which I guess I probably should have since she's at school and everything. But yeah, she is in this chapter. Otherwise, I would have fit her into the chapter. But there is a chapter coming up that actually is simply labeled Lavender. So, so probably when I get to that one, yeah, I would definitely make sure to get an image for her in the thumbnail there. Otherwise, I would have had that along, both her and Matilda in the thumbnail, along with the character I made myself, as like if I was in Matilda there, since I'm reading it and everything, sort of imagining myself in the book, yeah. So yeah. So anyway, let's go on into this here. The nice thing about Matilda was that if you had met her casually and talked to her, you would have thought she was a perfectly normal 5.5-year-old girl. She displayed almost no outward signs of her brilliance. She never showed off. Say, a very humble person. Sort of makes you think of Michael Jackson a bit there. This is a very sensible and quiet little girl, you would have said to yourself. And unless for some reason you had started a discussion with her about literature and mathematics, you would have never known the extent of her brain power. And if I hadn't said it before, I think in theory, this could be the source of how she later develops the psychic powers that she gets. As the narrator once said in the movie version, about us using only so much. I think it's so much percentage of our brain, but apparently Matilda proved to have used a lot more than the average amount that most people would use there. And I think in theory, this could be have to do with all the knowledge she's obtained from so many of the books she's read, as well as just obtaining knowledge in general there. So could be maybe the way it works here in this universe for her. Yeah. Okay. And okay, so the extent of her brain power, it was therefore easy for Matilda to make friends with other children. All those in her class liked her. They knew, of course, that she was clever because they heard her being questioned by Miss Honey on the first day of term. And I would imagine probably they had probably a really big curiosity about, how Matilda is like this. So, yeah, of course, you probably would want to hang around Matilda and, learn more about her and everything like that, and that would definitely lead you to becoming friends with her, especially since they mentioned about, despite all the knowledge she has, she still comes across as just like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. So, and they knew also that she was allowed to sit quietly with a book during lessons and not pay attention to the teacher. They but children of their age do not search deeply for reasons. They are far too wrapped up in their own small struggles to worry over much about what others are doing and why. Okay. Among Matilda's newfound friends was a girl called Lavender. Right from the first day of the term, the two of them started wandering around together during morning break and the lunch hour. And I remember Lavender in the movie. Um, and to say she was an African American girl and with glasses, and she sort of had, and the actress who played her had sort of a raspy voice. So I don't know if that's the way maybe the book might say it as we keep reading. But I'm not sure if that was intentional, but the act they had the actress for her play with a raspy voice. Like, wow. Yeah, that was the way she said it. And like in how she delivered her other lines there. So Lavender was exceptionally small for her age, sort of like I guess Nicole in the Bubblina book, the comics there. A skinny little nymph with deep brown eyes and dark hair that was cut in a fringe across her forehead. Matilda liked her because she was gusty and adventurous. She liked Matilda for exactly the same reasons. Yeah. Before and I guess this. Let's see. Okay, let me read a little bit more before I show the picture. Before the first week of the term was up, awesome tales about the headmistress, Miss Trunchbull, began to filter through to the newcomers. Matilda and Lavender, standing in the corner of the playground during morning break on the third day, were approached by a rugged 10-year-old girl with a boil on her nose called Horse uh, Hortensia. Okay, that's quite a name there. And that's the picture there. As you can see, right there. So that's so of course the girl that's real tall is the 10-year-old talking to the two 5-year-olds, Matilda and Lavender. Of course, I guess you can see Matilda is right here, and next to her is Lavender. Yep. Kind is a okay, because I mean this is a cause then you got the whole art style thing going. Um, I also noticed in the movie Lavender had glasses. They don't seem like the animated glasses on her there. Yeah, so yeah, which I mean it could be possible, but it's kind of hard to tell with the art style there. Um, so anyway, new scum, I suppose. Hortensia said to them, looking down from her great height. She was eating from an extra large bag of potato chips, digging the stuff out in handfuls. Mm, must be some pretty good potato chips there. They wouldn't happen to be are they plain or barbecue? Barbecue, they want to give me some. welcome, welcome to Barstool, she said, spraying bits of the crisp of her mouth like snowflakes. Oh boy. The two tiny ones confronted by this giant kept a watchful silence. Hey, have you met the Trunchbull yet? Hortensia asked. We've we've seen her at prayers, Lavender's. We've seen her at prayers, Lavender said, but we haven't met her. Hmm. You've got a real treat coming to you, Hortensia said. She hates very small children. She therefore loathes the bottom class and everyone in it. She thinks 5-year-olds are the grubs that haven't hatched out yet. Wow. Which we kind of got and kind of could get a kind of caught on to that when they first introduced the Trunchbull. So yeah, it looks like Matilda and Lavender them are just now hearing about the Trunchbull here, and in the movie, they met the Trunchbull right on the first day before they even got in the classroom. Now, so, and this girl that's talking to them, they met her, um, and she immediately told them, the 411 on Trunchbull right then and there. Mm-hmm. He's got there. So another Ian went another fistful of crisp, and she spoke again, sprayed out the crumbs you gave. Might not want to talk with, if you're going to tell this, might not be a good idea to talk and, you know, sprint at the same time. But, so, you've got a real treat coming for you. Right? Small children, and everyone in it. Yeah. This is why people tell you not to talk with your mouth full. They almost like Skybite when he had that device in his mouth. Oh, 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 don't talk with your mouth full. If if you survive your first year, you just may manage to live through the rest of your time here. But many don't survive. They get carried out in stretch. They get carried out on stretchers, screaming. I've seen it often. Hortensia paused to observe the effects. Observe the effect these remarks were having on the two twitchy ones. Not very much. They seemed pretty cool. So the large one decided to regale them with further information. There, stretchers. Oh boy. Yeah, it seems like a bit like yeah, she did. Now the girl did tell them some pretty horrific tales, which should be in the book as well. But I don't remember hearing about stretchers there. Mm. And yeah, and also I looked up a little information about the time period. Apparently, the book in this book it was written in the time period of the 70s and 80s in England. So yeah, and so according to the book, this is actually taking place in England in the 70s and 80s, but going by the movie adaptation of in 1996, which it takes place in the 90s here in America, so pretty much modernized in the movie version, as well as also a play version that came out around the same time as the 90s movie, and then you got another somewhat modernized up to today's time with the I want to say the recent movie, possibly a recent play that actually stages it back in England, but in I guess like the 2010 12 era kinda. So an interesting Matilda verse here. I suppose the Trunchbull has a lockup cupboard in her private quarters called the Chokey. Have you ever heard the Chokey? Matilda and Lavender shook their heads and continued to gaze at the giant. Being very small, they were inclined to mistrust any creature that was larger than they were, especially senior girls. The Chokey, Hortensia went on, is a very tall but narrow cupboard. Yeah, she did tell him about the chokey in the movie. The floor is only the floor is only 10 square inches, so you can't sit down or squat. You have to stand there, and three of the walls are made of cement with bits of broken glass sticking out all over, so you can't lean against them. You have to stay in more or less at attention at all times when you get locked up in there. It's terrible. You can't lean against the door, Matilda. Don't be draft, Hortensia said. The door's got thousands of sharp, spiky nails sticking out of it. they've been hammered through from the outside, probably by the Trunchbull herself. Have you ever been in there? Lavender asked. My first term was in there six was in there 6 times, Hortensia said. Twice for the whole day and the other times for 2 hours each. But 2 hours is quite enough. It's pitch dark and you have to stand up dead straight. If you wobble at all, you get spiked either by the glass on the side of the wall or the nails on the door. Why were you put in there? Matilda asked. What had you done? First time, Hortensia said, I poured half a tin of golden syrup on the seat of the chair the Trunchbull was going to sit on her prayers. Prayers. I did not take the Trunchbull for the type to pray. It was wonderful when she lowered herself into the chair. There was a loud squeaking noise similar to that of a hippopotamus lowering its foot into the mud of the banks of the Limpopo River. But you're too small and stupid to have read the Just So stories, aren't you? I've read them, said Matilda. Say, hey, don't call them stupid now. Come on now. Let's be nice. be nice. Be nice, kids. Well, mostly her. Yeah. Or yeah. Mm, oh boy. You're a liar, Hortensia said ambivalently. You can't even read yet. If only she knew. But no matter. So when the Trunchbull sat down on the golden syrup, the squeak was beautiful, and when she jumped up again, the chair sort of stuck to her seat, to the seat of those awful green breeches she wears. Sticky. She wears and comes up with her in a few seconds until the third stick slowly came unstuck. Then she claps her hands to the seat of her breeches, and both hands got covered in the muck. You should have heard her bellow. But how did she know it was you? Lavender asked. You little squirt. A little squirt called Ogie Bog Whistle sneaked on me, Hortensia say. I knocked his front teeth out. Whoa, tough girl here. Okay. And the Trunchbull put you in the chokey for a whole day? Matilda asked, gulping. All day long, Hortensia say. I was off my rocker when she let me out, babbling like an idiot. And what other things did you get put in the chokey? Oh, it's Lavender. What were the other things you did to get put in the chokey, Lavender asked. Oh, I can't remember them all now, Hortensia said. She spoke with the air of an old warrior who had been in so many battles that bravery had become commonplace. It's all so long ago, she added, stuffing more crisp into her mouth. Yeah, I can see many warriors probably eating some chips while telling their old war stories. So, I was on the battlefield. And, and then, we went down to Fort Sumter. And we had to cross over to the Delaware. And then it's a charge. And then, these are good chips, by the way. Oh boy. Mm. Okay, let's see a notification there. Like, ooh. Yes, I can remember one. Here's what happened. I chose a time when I knew the Trunchbull was out of the way teaching the sixth formers. Sixth formers, I guess that's her way of saying the sixth graders. Yeah, sixth formers, transformers, sixth formers, dun dun. They're all they're the sixth graders, sixth formers. Older kids up here, they're much higher up than you. It's something, something, something. And I put my hand up and asked to go to the bogs, I guess the bathroom. But instead of going there, I sneaked into the Trunchbull's room. And after a speedy search, I found a drawer where she keeps all her gym knickers. Go on, Matilda said spellbound. What happened next? I had sent away by I had sent away by post, you see, for this for this very powerful itching powder. Oh, that's what she's sprinkling in here. Hortensia said. It costs it costs five. Let's see, what's it saying? Five sop a packet, and it was called the Skin Scorcher. The label said it was made from powdered teeth and deadly snakes. Ooh. And it was guaranteed to raise welts the size of walnuts on your skin. With them two ingredients, this sounds more like something from a witch or something. Itching powder, my pretty. I'll get you, my pretty. I get a good dog too. So I sprinkled this stuff inside every pair of knickers in the drawer and then folded all of them again carefully. Hortensia paused to cram more crisp into her mouth. Not that I can point fingers, I've had my mouth stuffed at times there. Did it work? Lavender asked, and this is a picture of her doing it here. Very devious. Oh boy. Well, Hortensia said, a few days later during prayers, the Trunchbull suddenly started scratching herself like mad down below. Aha! I said to myself, here we go. She's changed for Jim already. It was pretty wonderful to be sitting there watching it all and knowing I was the only person in the whole school who realized exactly what was going on inside Trunchbull's pants. And I felt safe too because I knew I couldn't be caught. Then the scratching got worse and she couldn't stop. She must have she must have thought she had a wasp nest down there. Oh boy. Yeah, oh boy, the image of a wasp nest in your pants. Ouch. Hey, what's up, Janara? How's it how's it going there? Yep. They talk about the tales of the Trunchbull here. Look like this girl got some pretty juicy stuff here while eating these potato chips there. Oh, okay, okay. Hope and by the way, hope everything's all right with you there. You say, um, like I said, Mario said, "Hey, what's up?" And what's up, Mario? Also help Billy and Mario, and just in case Luigi, if he's there too, you know. Hey, well, we got the three. It's like Billy, Mario, Luigi. Three of them could be like three amigos, like the three musketeers. There, one all for one and one for all. Here we go. So, yep. So let's see. So she couldn't stop. She must have thought she had a wasp nest down there. Then, right in the middle of the Lord's Prayer, she leapt up and grabbed her bottom and rushed out the room. Oh boy. Honestly, I did not notice about the charge bull. I don't I can't really see her as a. Hopefully we. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hope. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. Pretty sure Mario would know. You know, he'd be but but yeah, I never really thought the church fool being the type to take the time for prayer. Yeah, although I guess maybe it's like I don't know if any of y'all seen this movie, Norbit there, Respucia. Yeah, not really kid friendly movie, but yeah, she claimed she was a Christian, but she sure was a long way from from as far as the her actions, especially don't get me started with her brothers there. Yeah, the way she was abusing Norbit there. Okay. Yeah, she came. There was a scene. There was a scene when Raputia came into church looking for Norbit, and she had a crowbar in her hand. And he's like, "Oh, the death do us part, Norbit. Well, you just moved up the instead of cuss word, and they said, "Ooh, hey, Norbit, you got me cussing at this church." Well, I'm hope you're a Christian. I ain't gonna be cussing at this church. And they thou was thou have and they the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Mm, yeah. as as Jesus said about the priests in the New Testament, you hypocrites. Yeah, that's a big hypocrite there. Trunchbull, Trunchbull, I would definitely put in the hypocrite category. All right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, so both Matilda and Lavender were enthralled. It was quite clear to them they were at this moment standing in the presence of a master. Here was somebody who brought the art of skullduggery to its highest point of perfection. Someone, moreover, who was willing to risk life and limb in pursuit of her calling. They gazed in wonder at this goddess. Suddenly, even the boil on her nose was no longer a blemish, but a badge of courage. But how did she catch you that time? Lavender asked, breathless with wonder. Say, she didn't, Hortensia said, but I got a day in the chokey just the same. Why? They both said. The Trunchbull, Hortensia says. She has a nasty habit of guessing. When she doesn't know who the culprit is, she makes the guess. And the trouble is she's often right. I was the prime suspect because of the golden syrup job. And although I knew she didn't have any proof, nothing I said made a difference. I kept shouting, how could I have done it, Trunchbull? I didn't even know you had spare knickers in the school. I don't even know what itching powder is. I've never heard of it. But the line didn't help me. In spite of the great performance I put on, the Trunchbull simply grabbed me by the ear and rushed me to the chokey at the double and threw me inside and locked the door. That was my second all day stretch. It was absolute torture, and I was spiked and, and cut all over when I came out. Oof. Oh boy. Yeah, Trunchbull did do that in the movie too. So it just came at kids at random. It was like a war. It's like a war, Matilda said overawed. You're darn right it's like a war, Hortensia cried. And the casualties are, ter- are terrific. We are the Crusaders, the gallant army fighting for our lives with hardly any weapons at all. The Trunchbull is the Prince of Darkness. Te- Technically, wouldn't she be the Queen of Darkness? The foul serpent, the fiery dragon, with all the weapons at her command. It's a tough life. We all try to support each other. It can rely on us, Lavender said, making her height of 3 feet 2 inches stretch as tall as possible. No, you can't, Hortensia said. You're only shrimps. But you never know. We may find a use for you one day in some undercover job. Like, tell us just a bit more about what she does. Please do, Matilda say. I mustn't frighten you before you I mustn't frighten you before you've been here a week, Hortensia said. You won't, Lavender said. We may be small, but we're quite tough. Okay, Lavender, I thought you and Matilda started to remind me of what's his name, Joshua and his buddy back in the Old Testament. They said, yeah, we can take them. Listen to this, then, Hortensia said. Only yesterday, the Trunchbull caught a boy called Julius Rotwinkle eating licorice assaults, all sorts during the scripture lesson. Hmm. So they must have a chapel at this school here. I know we had a chapel back in my private school I went to for kindergarten and first grade. Yeah, scripture lesson. She simply picked him up by one arm and flung him clear out the open classroom window. Yeah, they showed now that I remember they showed this in the movie. This is what it looks like in the book. Uh, However, in the movie, since it was in the 90s and not the 70s like the book, the movie changed the candy to M&Ms there. And he stuffed them in for the Trunchbull and then threw them out there. Yep. Mm. Our class our classroom is one floor up, and we saw Julius Rotwinkle go sailing over the garden like a frisbee, landing with a thump in the middle of the lettuces. When the Trunchbull turned to us and said, "From now on, anybody caught eating in class goes straight out the window." Did Julius Rotwinkle break any bones? Lavender asked. Only a few, Hortensia say. You got to remember that Trunchbull once threw a hammer in Britain in the Olympics. She's very proud of her right arm. What's throwing the hammer? Lavender asked. A hammer, Hortensia say. It's actually a ruddy, great cannonball on the end of a long bit wire, and the thrower whisked it around and around. I think she showed this in the movie. Not her in the Olympics. They mentioned about the Olympics in the movie, but I think they also showed the Trunchbull with this thing that she's talking about here. They whisk it around and around, his or her head faster and faster, and then lets it go. You have to be terrifically strong. Trunchbull will throw anything around just to keep her arm in, especially children. Good heavens, Lavender said. Once I heard her say, Hortensia went on, that a large boy is about the same weight as an Olympian hammer. Therefore, she's very useful for practicing. He's very useful for practicing with. At that point, something strange happened. The playground, which had been filled up with shrieks of shouting children at play, all at once became silent as a grave. Uh-oh. Say, watch out, Hortensia say, whispered. Lavender and Matilda glanced around and saw the gigantic figure Trunchbull advancing toward the crowd of boys and girls with menacing stride. Oh, so now she ain't telling a story here. Trunchbull makes her appearance for Matilda and Lavender to see her for the first time. Matilda and Lavender glanced around at the giant figure advancing toward the crowd of boys and girls with menacing strides. The children drew back hastily to let her through, and her progress across the asphalt was like that of Moses going through the Red Sea when the waters parted. Oh boy. Yikes. And a formidable figure she was, too. Her in her belted smock and her green breeches, below the knees of her calf muscles stood out like grapefruits inside of her stockings. Amanda Thripp! She, oh, by the way, she's shouting here though. Amanda Thripp! She said she was shouting. You, Amanda Thripp! Come here! Hold your hats, Hortensia whispered. What's going to happen? Whispered Lavender. That idiot Amanda let her hair grow even longer during the halls, and her mother has played in the pigtails. Silly thing to do, Hortensia said. Oh boy, this scene from the movie. Why silly? Until that. It's one thing that Trunchbull can't stand is pigtails, Hortensia said. Matilda and Lavender saw the giant in her green breeches advancing toward the girl of about ten who had a pair of plaited golden pigtails hanging over her shoulders. Each pigtail had a blue satin bow at the end of it and looked pretty. The girl was wearing the pigtails. Amanda Thripp stood quite still, watching the advancing giant, and the expression on her face was one you might find of a small person who was trapped in a small, as Oh boy. And Trunchbull really doesn't like those pigtails. Oof. Okay. But Rick, trapped in a small field with an enraged bull, which is charging flat out towards her, the girl was glued to the spot, terror struck, pop eye quivering, knowing for certain that the day of judgment had come for her at last. Miss Trunchbull had now realized, Trunchbull had now reached the victim and stood towering over her. I want those filthy pigtails off before you come back to school tomorrow, she barked. Chuck them off, in the throw them in the dustbin. You understand? Okay. Amanda, paralyzed with fear, managed to stutter. My my mommy likes them. She plants them for me every morning. Your mommy. The twit! The Trunchbull bellowed. Oh, no, she did not. Just talk about that girl's mama. Mm. And said Trunchbull she lucky Will Smith ain't at this school. Well, Will Smith said something about his mama, and he is a even as a kid he probably be ready to throw hands with the Trunchbull. Mm. Say yeah, you look. Say the Trunchbull bellowed. She pointed her finger the size of a salami at the child's head and shouted, "You look like a rat with a tail coming out of his head." They, my mommy thinks I look lovely, Miss Trunchbull. Amanda stuttered like a black like a blamage. You heard it's a Blancmange. Hadn't heard of that. That's the first time I seen that word there. I don't give a tinker's toot what your mommy thinks. What said the Trunchbull yelled. Wait, wait. I don't give a tinker's toot what your mummy thinks. Trunchbull yelled as with that she lunged forward and grabbed hold of Amanda's pigtails in her right fist, lifted the girl clear off the ground, and started swinging her around and round her head faster and faster. Amanda was screaming blue murder. Oh boy. And the Trunchbull was yelling, I'll give you pigtails, you little rat. The shades of Olympia, the Hortensia mother. She's getting up to speed now, just like she does with the hammer. 10-1, she's going to throw her. Now the Trunchbull was leaning back against the weight of the whirling girl, pivoting expertly onto her toes, spinning around and around, and soon Amanda Thrift was traveling so fast she became a blur, and suddenly, with a mighty grunt, the Trunchbull let go of her pigtails, and Amanda went sailing like a rocket right over the wire fence of the playground and high into the sky. Oh boy. Yeah. True. This was in today's time. In reality, this shoot, TikTok would have had TikTok and the social media would have had Trunchbull locked up at this point. Hmm. Well thrown, sir, someone shouted from across the playground, and Matilda, who was mesmerized by the whole crazy affair, saw Amanda Thrift descending with a long, graceful parabola onto a playing field beyond. She landed in the grass and bounced 3 times, finally came to rest. Then amazingly she sat up. She looked a little trifle dazed, and who could blame her? After a minute or so, she was on her feet again, trotting back towards the playground. That's what she. Oh boy, man, man. But if somebody like the Trunchbull exists in real life and did that, yeah, she needs to be that. Anybody like the Trunchbull needs to have their butt fired. Okay. She, the Trunchbull stood in the playground, dusting off her hands. Not bad, she said. Considering I'm not in strict training, not bad at all. She said. She strode away. She's mad, Hortensia said. But don't the parents complain? Matilda asked. Would yours? Hortensia said. I know mine wouldn't. She treats the mothers and fathers just the same as the children. They're all too scared to death of her. I'll be seeing you sometime, you two. And with that, she stuttered away. So one big difference between the book and the movie. In the movie, they just said that the parents wouldn't believe this. Of course, they probably would in this day and time. But here, the book states that apparently it implies the parents know about the Trunchbull, but apparently they're just as terrified as the children are. This is a pretty bad the Trunchbull pretty bad. You got the parents scared of her. Oh my goodness. No wonder she hadn't got arrested in this universe yet. Mm. Although I would imagine if she did, then Trunchbull would probably be fighting. I would imagine Trunchbull may have fought with the police before. She might have the police scared of her. Yikes! So all right, so I'm gonna stop there. Next time, next Saturday, when we read from Matilda, be looking in about the chocolate cake story. That was also another scene from the movie too. We're looking into that chocolate cake story. So, yep, it's pretty interesting that we haven't been exposed to Matilda's powers just yet. There, but like I say, I do like. Yeah, it is quite a build up to it there, and like I say, we're almost, if not completely. I think look like from my bookmark, we're almost halfway through the book. So yeah, it looks like somewhere in the next half will be introduced to Matilda's powers there. So whereas the movie kind of gave us a hint at it early with her blowing up her parents' TV there. So yeah, but like I say, all in all, it's still good. So all right. So definitely make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Definitely get our available books. Be sure to definitely support us on the Patreon. And I'll probably make a video of this later when I get a chance. But sadly, our and I think I did mention this in a video I just made yesterday, which should it'll be a while before it gets up on the channel. But our Patreon Iceman Universe is no longer with us. Well, at least on the Patreon, he's no longer with us. Probably, not sure why, but things kind of happen. Like I say, um, sometimes that could be maybe some things going on with finance stuff like that. You know, because I remember I was supporting some people on Patreon a while back, YouTube channels that I was really enjoying, and I kind of had to leave the Patreon. I actually did give them a message, like hey, I gotta sign off because I got some stuff going on there. They was real cool with it. It's like, hey, it's okay, Gabe. Go take care of your stuff there. So yeah, so stuff like that happens there. But like I say, for the rest of y'all, if you're in the position, yeah, definitely support us on that Patreon. You don't have to put a big great amount there, but like I said, I know we all trying to deal with bills and stuff like that. I am too. So like I say, but if you want to put a little something in there, but you don't want to put yourself out of a lot of money, the lowest that you can put on there is $1 a month. That, like I say, we would deeply appreciate that. And also, definitely support the Miracle Crew, as which is, of course, yours truly, King Gabe, Queen Tina, Big Sis Casey, Janara Nellens, Jen, aka Chris Godfrey, and of course, EJ the Supreme. And just like you hang out with us on the live stream. Also hang out with us on Discord and on Facebook. Also, I am I'm gonna be making arrangements soon to try to get Zoom. I actually do have Zoom. I'm gonna be trying to get that working because uh, just a little last time during the last video that me and Casey were making, which you guys will see, we did, which we weren't successful in getting it, but uh, we did kind of have a rough patch with Discord on the laptop. Discord does work on my phone, but it doesn't work. But for some reason, on the laptop, when I try to bring it up, the only thing that the big problem is trying to do the video chat there. I think I can still do the audio chat on the laptop, but I can't do the video chat. But I can bring video chat up on the phone though. So I'm gonna be trying to first chance I get try to get Zoom worked out because I do already have that in the laptop computer from a Zoom call I did with Cherry Gray, and also and so I've already told Quintina about it. I'm guessing if you're still in here, Janara, you're hearing about it now. Um, and I guess hopefully probably let Jen know. Hopefully he's able to come on board. It should be because it seemed like the way Zoom is set up seemed like it should be easy to come on and everything. A little bit easier than Discord, hopefully. And I know EJ knows about it because he works at the library, so they use Zoom at the library all the time for their meetings and stuff. So yeah, I know EJ won't have no problem with that. So, so yeah, so like I say, so hopefully we can get Zoom working for future meetings as well as maybe making some videos on Zoom, like if we don't for maybe like reviews that we can't get together in person on. So yeah, something like that. And so hopefully get that working. And also definitely facilitate some stuff on that McCary app. So like I say, so until then, we'll see you in the next live stream or video. And I will, and like I say, I will make a video of, like what I just mentioned about Iceman. Just kind of to let everybody know that, and also about what I just mentioned about Zoom. So yeah, I will make a separate video for that as first chance I get, and we'll see y'all next video live stream. Y'all take care, everybody. Peace out.